Hello?
Hello. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Nice to see you. How are you doing?
Great.
First of all, thanks a lot to came here. Uh, I have a small YouTube channel and about video game music. Not many composers are so talkative as you. I ask you and you like, fuck it, let's go. It's awesome. It's so cool. You're so passionate about your work. You know, I thought you're so bored about Max Payne, talk about Max Payne for 10 years, but you like, let's go, let's do it. You're not bored.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the hugest game to work. I don't know. We haven't got to do another game, so we can still talk about it. We've been in other games, but we've never done a full score, you know?
Yeah, it's so amazing. It's such an opportunity, and you did it so well. I need to tell you something. My English is terrible, actually, but I will understand all you say. You sometimes may not understand what I say because my pronunciation and poor choice of words. But I'll do my best. Okay.
Okay.
So. I'm nervous a little bit, but let's go for it. My cat is here. She's excited too. Okay, first of all, how did you get involved in Max Payne? And I'm asking not about first coffee talk with Rockstar. You said a lot about it. I'm asking why Rockstar chose you in the first place? Because of your style, your sound, your experimental way. Did you talk about this?
Yeah, you know, this is very really, it was very experience-inspired choice. There was a guy working at Rockstar at the time named Andy. They were originally working on Max Payne 3 with a different composer, and it wasn't working out.
Yeah.
And there's like, what if someone could help out? And he's like, well, what about this group Health? I was listening to our first album, maybe first and second album, and so we were happened to be playing New York, so they reached out and said, hey, would you guys like to go get dinner? And in my head, I was like, wow, would they ask us to score a game? No way. And then at the dinner, like, what do you guys think about scoring a game? And I'm like, what the fuck? It felt very surreal. And, you know, I'm very passionate about video games. Immediately, we immediately sent them 2 whole levels. We really went above and beyond to show them, like, how we would do the game. And then they had us rework some of the other guys' cues, and they kind of revealed that they were actually having a very rough time with the other guy. And they're like, why don't you guys just take it over? And we're like, oh, perfect. So... And that's how it started. And just a very, you know, very extremely lucky, extremely inspired choice. Pretty wild, you know?
They risked with you and you risked with them too, yeah? It's like, instead of making third album, we making a whole third Max Payne, yeah? What makes you say, fuck it, we do this? It's a whole year, 13 months, 24 hours a day. Why did you make this risk?
Well, I mean, how are you going to say no? I mean, I would never say no. It was, we were having a very hard time making our third record already. And there was this moment of like, it felt like, you know, we're kind of getting him. They're like, now we're going to take this. And it's like, dude, what are you kidding? Like, what are you going to say no? No, of course you're going to say yes. And also it's very exciting. Like, I'm really into games, and I was especially really into Rockstar games.
Yeah, you just finished Red Dead Redemption, yeah?
Yeah. And I was just thinking of how great the music was and how cool it was. And then when it came up, I was like, wow, okay. Like, it was just, it's bizarrely, you know, I got a PS3 because of Red Dead. And then it's like, it's like the next year, it's like Max Payne 3. And I was like, what the hell's going on? So first thing I did is I got a PS2 and I played Max Payne 1 and 2 back to back. And just really started, you know, getting getting really super excited about doing Max Payne 3 and how we're going to do it, you know?
Yeah, and you have an opportunity to work with Woody Jackson later, yeah?
Yep.
How is that? How it feels? It like meeting a hero or just partners?
Well, it's cool. We got Woody Studio's amazing, and we mixed the whole record there at the end with this guy Michael, who's really amazing. But and we later came back there and did the song for GTA 5 there. But yeah, he's just a really eccentric guy. His studio is incredible, and it's just filled with endless, you know, gear. It's like, this is the thing from Pet Sounds. This is the synth that Peter Gabriel did Sledgehammer. Everything in the studio is like that, and there's all this amazing stuff. So it was really cool to work in there, you know.
Do you like Red Dead Redemption 2 soundtrack?
I do. It's interesting. Well, they went kind of. It's a really cool idea. They went like modern Western with it, like um, Assassination of Jesse James with the Coward, Robert Ford, blah blah, which is a cool, really cool idea. Obviously, personally, I love spaghetti westerns. It was so mind blowing to me that they did this like Morricone style score for the first one. How perfect it was. But the second one was also really great too. I mean, and Red Dead 2 is gorgeous. It's, they really kill it. I think Yvonne and Tony at Rockstar just really murder it with the music direction always.
Rockstar is amazing, and they are found musicians, artists. It's incredible talent. Some even say they heard echoing from Max Payne 3 soundtrack in Red Dead Redemption 2. I think it's just coincidence, but maybe your relations was so close.
I never heard that.
Okay. In one of the tracks, the hidden sound of a crying child, which sounds very similar to the crying child of Max Payne 1. So, what other Easter eggs you hit in your tracks? Maybe the things players haven't discovered yet to this day.
Yeah, there's stuff people haven't discovered. I won't say, but like there's a lot of references to the first two games. Obviously, that's the most really clear one. Obviously,
and cello and
I don't know. They're not really secrets. I don't know. They're just like we wanted to echo the first two soundtracks in certain parts, and just not directly, not like a copy, but like that you could feel like we definitely wanted this to feel like this is a sequel to the first two, but it's its own because it is wildly different. Being so many years later and being in Brazil and stuff like that.
Yeah, especially in New York parts. Okay, in Brazil you go with your own sound.
Yeah, we kind of just, you kind of just came with an idea where like, we had this, our standard sound at the time. Our sound is totally different now, but that was going to be Brazil. We wanted the flashback episodes to be very referential, and then we kind of had different concepts for different levels and stuff like that.
So many re-recordings, you say? Yeah, it's some parts go right to the. You cut it and make new ones. Yeah, Rockstar was hard on this. Yeah.
Well, I think it's normal to have. There's always notes, there's always revisions, and sometimes the direction of the game would change, so we'd have to change the music. And there was a moment where we had to start doing a lot more. Like we had to like kind of table or take everything we did and do twice as much on top. But that said, I mean, the amount of freedom they gave us was pretty insane, and it's our first time composing, and we are not, it's very strange. The whole thing's strange, and they gave us this incredible amount of freedom to do all these these cool artistic ideas, and so we're very extremely grateful, and it came out great.
They ask you to do just do health stuff, yeah.
I mean, there were there's suggestions and there were references and certain things, and we totally took those, but we were given just a lot of freedom, or just like there's always these different departments, and some people weren't sure about direction here, but some people really liked it, and we just kept working on it. We got it till it was good, and made it work. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff we did were for some levels, kind of stranger, but people also really resonate with those things too. Today, really like them. Everyone loves the the baby crying and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's so heartfelt moment. And if you mention it, why do you go with retro aesthetics in some parts? Because Max Payne isn't so retro. I think it's they call neo-noir. So why did you choose this approach?
Well, like which ones you're thinking?
Synthesizers, some effects, maybe VHS noises, something like that.
I don't know. I think it was just stuff that would just be good for gameplay. I know what you're saying, because the original Max Payne has a very late 90s, early 2000s, like it has this like Matrix kind of like era.
Yes.
Yeah, we definitely did want to. We did our own soundtrack, and yeah, we did have some more like potentially kind of vintagey synth work, or like those bass pulses, or like Panama level is intentionally trying to be like Giorgio Moroder's like Midnight Express kind of.
Yeah.
So we could get, because it's a flashback, we can get kind of like have a lot of latitude to have a really different vibe for that. Yeah, I don't know. We didn't think it fit the setting of the game the same way to have like, and because we were making it in 2012, I think it would have been kind of weird if we had kind of like that, which is actually very cool now. Having a sound like that now would be super cool. People think it's very hip, but having like this, early 2000s, late 90s, like breakbeat, kind of dark, no song like that,
Yes,
which is closer to the music that we make now, which is kind of funny. The Sound of Health is much closer than that than the Max Payne, our original, sort of noise sound was.
I have a question about this later, but for now, you mentioned that Pain, Combat Drugs, and Torture in one of your interviews. You mentioned these tracks as your favorite tracks. Why is that?
I just think they really clicked. They're emotional. It's really awesome sound. I think the most popular internally, when especially like people really love obviously the melodic ones, and people really love the Panama. And that's like Panama. That's more like usually great video game music is something melodic that you can kind of hear over and over. That's great, and that was great too.
Yeah, I mean, tears are good.
Oh yeah, well that was I really got to give credit to Rockstar for that. So Ivan Pavlovich, the music supervisor, he said, "Hey, at the end we want to have a song with vocals, to kick in on this one moment." And I was like, okay. And so that was a demo I had that we were gonna be for our third record, and we're like, well, what about this? And then they're like, oh, I think this will work because it was something with the tempo, like when he's walking. It's like it really, really, really works. This sort of vibe. And so we made that, and obviously people love that moment. That's the moment that everyone remembers too. So I really gotta, give credit to them for that. Because when they said it, I was like, whoa, isn't that gonna be cheesy? It's like, no, that's cool.
It was amazing because of music, because of text. It's summarize all series through first to second and third game. In the first two games was Poets of the Fall band, and they did songs too, but they was in the credits scenes, not in the game itself. So.
Red Dead Redemption 1, which I think what this idea came from. In Red Dead Redemption 1, at the very end, there's a big moment where a vocal song comes in. But that also felt very appropriate to old westerns, where like old spaghetti westerns, where they'd have a weird vocal song sometimes, or they'd have like some of the other westerns where like there's a fucking song that comes in at some point, and that really worked, that style too. So that felt cool and old timey that way also. But it really worked in the game, and it really came together. So it's great.
Of course. The Sound of Health, in my opinion, describes Max Payne very well. It's bold, edgy, and sharp, and at the same time it's meditative and hypnotic, and I would say fragile. Do you think that's the reason it clicks? It fits so well to the game?
I don't know. I think we kind of have some cinematic aspirations, so like we kind of fit something like a video game. But what we would do is all the music we would just we have gameplay footage. You make the music, you put up the gameplay footage. If it doesn't feel right, in a second, and then you got to start over. So that it's also, there's not a lot of mystery. Like you can see it's working, or at least feel it's working. Now, not everyone might agree, but when we put the music up, we're like, oh, this feels great. This feels great to play.
You said it was the easiest part of the making music because in your own tracks you must rely on yourself, and in soundtrack you must rely on visuals.
Yeah, you are serving them. You are serving you want to make the game, the movie, whatever it is, as good as possible. Yeah. So the roadmap is, the finish line is right there.
The track Pain sounds like both a release for Max. He can finally take a breath, but still unsettling. Like the pain will never leave him. How correct am I? What was your intention with this track?
Yeah, well, we don't. A lot of times where the stuff is placed, we didn't know where they're going to be placed. So, so they take out a new meaning. So Pain and the video game ended up being used at like the very end.
Yes.
But we originally writing it, we had this idea. It didn't actually end up working. It was too much. Where if you started the airport level, the final level, Pain was going to be the first track playing in the beginning. So it had this weird vibe where you're going in, and then it would kick into something else. And the vibe was it was too much, too much emotion there, especially when we're building up to tears later. It wasn't working. So we didn't know where Pain was going to go. They ended up putting Pain right at the end of that cutscene for the ending, and it works really, really well.
Yes, it fits so well.
Same thing with that with Torture. We wanted to do something really arty, where when you started, I think it's the docks level 4 or something, it would just be this guitar figure that's like not based on like a loop the way the rest of the guitar. It would just play through while you're hearing this jungle sounds and walking around, and then that level would start on its own thing. And that was great. They were really into it, and then like it just ended up not working. So that ended up being in a cutscene and just on the soundtrack. So you gotta do what's best for the game.
One question bothered me a lot for 10 years. What do you consider to be the main theme of Max Payne 3 at the first place? We have this beautiful rendition of Max Payne original theme, piano, da-da-da-da. We have this login screen, bold theme, we have tears, we have pain. What theme do you expect to be main for you?
Oh, for me, I guess Tears. I guess I don't know. Well, it's it's a sequel. It's supposed to be, and we want the Max Payne theme in there, and we're always referencing it in the music too. So, what's kind of great is actually weirdly worked out is we had to find a cello player, and the cello player we got is not very good. And if you listen really closely to our Max Payne theme, it's like kind of shitty. He's just like not, because cello, one of those stringed instruments, your skill level needs to be so high to really do it. But then it kind of actually worked out. I was like, no, this is good. It's like he's broken down. It's like even the playing is shit. It's not perfect. Now, obviously, it still works. You can hear the theme. We still, did all of our effects and we made it our version. But yeah, like it's not the greatest cello performance. It's like it's kind of crappy. It's just like not a great.
It fits too. Through the game, you can play with the piano. Max can play piano, and he's shitty at this too. So it fits well. So you go with Max theme, original theme?
I don't know. I mean, I do love the Max Payne theme. It's great. It's one of the great. It's great
yes.
theme. I like. Yeah. So I don't know. I guess for Max Payne 3, obviously Max Payne 3 sounds different. It's a different game. It's a Rockstar game. It's not the Remedy game.
Yes, it shifts. It shifts a lot. Max Payne have a happy ending now.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I guess the most memorable thing with Max Payne 3 was Tears. So I'd say, how about this with Tears?
Best option, I think. So in the end, how did working on Max Payne impact your career? I read that your audience grew a lot. People started coming to your concerts dressed as Max Payne.
Well, that's so much later, though.
Later?
Yes. Immediately after Max Payne, there was not a whole lot of difference in terms of, there's profiles. Like, oh, shit, you guys did a video game. But, like, we didn't have a lot of people coming to shows from the video game. That happened years later where those kids who were teenagers playing it grew up. And now we really have... There's such a legacy of people who grew up with Max Payne who are just finding out the band now and becoming fans. Or like a lot of the collaborators who work with, like JPEG Mafia, Ghostmain, they were huge fans of Max Payne 3 when they were teenagers. So that's why they wanted to work with us, which is really, flattering, which is cool.
It opened doors. Max Payne opened doors.
Definitely. And it's still, like, there's still, even though it's an old game, PS3, people are still discovering it and playing it. I would love if they drop a remaster to something for the console. That'd be great. But, hey, you can play it on PC right now for, like, $3.
Yeah. It holds so well. It holds the time I'm playing it right now. It's so amazing. Some things are outdated, but in the whole picture, and music. I turn off the music because I need to record footages for my video. And without music, it's so flat. The game is so flat, so boring. I mean, the shooting is so well still, but without music, it's nothing. It's not. Yeah. And you tell that you find your own sound in Max Payne 3 and it impacts your further albums.
Oh, yes. It was kind of like a lot of the, we just got better. Before Max Payne 3, we'd probably produced only like 45 minutes of music total. So it's the most music we'd ever created, working on like this, turnaround stuff quickly and I don't know, all kinds of things. Electronic things we did through Max Payne. We were learning on the fly, and then just it turned to continue influence our later music. So totally, I mean, it's very important for, without Max Payne, I don't know if the band's still around, right now.
Did the knowledge of instruments you gained while writing the Max Payne 3 soundtrack come in handy later on? Some cymbals, cellos, Brazilian percussion.
Well, a lot of those we used at Woody's studio, or we used like samples that we could get that we paid for.
Okay.
So it's all over the place. But there's just a lot of techniques we learned. Obviously, a lot of stuff we did for Max Payne 3 we'd never do again. We meticulously just trying to get the sound we did a lot of very like janky or kind of old school things of just like our workflow. Then we're just nowhere near as proficient as we were now. We're kind of going in head first. So, and we didn't use a studio until the very end. So we were just at our practice space, like, all those drum tracks were running out of a laptop into a Boss RV3 and re-recording it,
Oh.
for so much of the soundtrack we ran out of the computer back into a computer and did this very old school tweaking of stuff, very little EQ or anything, for most of that.
In the end, this is a story about giant risk you take and Rockstar take, and it pays significantly. And what do you think about modern soundtracks and musicians behind them? Do they need to take more risks? Maybe you even have an example of those.
When I look at, I've never been like, there's a crisis of video game music. Video game music is continually great. I mean, just this year, anything from Software sound team. Soundtrack's great. I mean, I love the Armored Core 6. That was just perfect. So good. The music's so good. The vibe's perfect vibe. Just brilliant. Metaphor, Refantasio, great soundtrack. I mean, there's no shortage of great video game music, I don't think.
Yeah, but do they do experiments now? Like your one, just whole soundtrack from the band for video game. Like, I don't know, Cyberpunk and Johnny Silverhand band refused this kind of example. It's not been a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't recommend if you're a video game publisher. It's like, I don't know if you want to go find a band to score. Maybe it's good. Yeah, maybe it's not. I don't know. Like, we're very lucky. I think when they met us, they were kind of wondering, are these guys going to be insane? Are these guys able to do a score? And they met us like, okay, these are reasonable guys. So we were. But yeah, I don't know if I recommend that. Obviously, composers are there to compose. They're not going to go on tour or anything.
Yeah, definitely.
Great games are coming out all the time. I'm never like, video game music sucks these days. It just doesn't really come out.
There are plenty of good music every year, but not that kind of example like you do, like you did in your time.
Yeah, and that's why more than ever we'd love to do. I mean, we've come back with Rockstar a little bit, but nothing would be great for us if we could do. The coolest thing ever would be like a new IP, something long form, something almost like a RPG or narrative. Whether something kind of action, something kind of sci-fi, like that would be a dream. We'd love to just hunker down and do a big score.
I hope it works someday. How did you get involved in Ultra Kill? It's so dope. The game, the soundtrack, your track.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we post so much funny shit on the internet, like some shit on the internet, and the guys from New Blood and Ultra Kill are really funny. I don't know, somehow those lines were crossed, and it was sort of like we're talking like, so what about a song on Ultra Kill? I'm like, yeah. And we kind of already knew each other, and I don't even know how it happened. So I still don't know how it happened. It's really weird.
It's a cool story. Many fans have discovered your band through the game, through the Max Payne. I myself guilty. Did you discover any new bands yourself through the games? Maybe from Rockstar games, especially?
Yeah, I mean, Rockstar games are definitely the coolest in terms of music, supervision. So, those GTA radios have the coolest shit on there, especially like on the more like weirder channels. Coolest reference. I love that there's probably a whole generation of kids who got into fucking Tangerine Dream and all this cool shit just through Rockstar games. So can't really go wrong. But we are very into, we're very trying to think. I mean, there's some great songs on the GTA 5 soundtrack that you might not have heard,
Yeah, it's GTA Online, and the renewed soundtrack for renewed radio stations every time, and there's no new songs, and DLCs. I mean, your song come with DLC, yeah? Are you looking forward to GTA 6?
Yes, everyone is. I mean, fuck, God, how long has this been? This has been in the works forever. Like, this is gonna be crazy. It's crazy. I mean, I think Red Dead Redemption 2 was really nuts in terms of like how far they're taking this engine, and obviously, all guns blazing for GTA 6. So, it's always gonna be very exciting.
We're getting close to it. Okay, that's all. That's all I have. I'm allowed. Thank you a lot for this conversation. It was a big, amazing field for me and experience. You're so cool guy.
Thanks, man.
Pleasure to talk with you. Thank you a lot.
Cool, man.
Goodbye.
I'll see you.